The helicopter circled once over the endless blue water before banking away, leaving behind only a desperate emergency beacon floating alone in the ocean. The rescue command declared the billionaire CEO dead. Elite Navy SEAL veterans searched for hours, mocked the quiet civilian single father who insisted the answer wasn't on the surface, and laughed when he pointed toward the deepest trench on their maps. But before the sun reached the western sky, that same forgotten father would descend into darkness, recover a black box from 4,112 meters beneath the sea, and uncover the truth that would save the woman everyone else had already abandoned. Before we begin this unforgettable journey, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel if you believe kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances can change someone's life. Every act of support helps our community continue sharing stories that remind us humanity is strongest when compassion comes first. Graham Mercer had never expected his life to become extraordinary. At 42, he spent his mornings repairing scientific underwater drones for a small marine research company along the rugged Atlantic coast. Every afternoon belonged to his 10-year-old daughter, Elsie, whose bright imagination filled the silence left behind after her mother's passing 5 years earlier. Graham never complained. He believed life measured wealth differently than bank accounts ever could. To him, wealth was hearing Elsie laugh while collecting seashells after school or watching her draw colorful oceans filled with creatures she dreamed her father might one day discover. Unknown to nearly everyone around him, Graham had once been one of Europe's leading deep-sea robotics engineers before leaving an international career to care for his family. Awards gathered dust inside unopened boxes in his attic. He preferred repairing equipment quietly instead of speaking about accomplishments that no longer mattered to him. Hundreds of miles offshore, Celeste Rowan stood aboard her company's experimental research vessel. At 38, she had transformed a struggling marine technology corporation into one of the world's fastest-growing environmental engineering firms. She had invested billions developing systems capable of cleaning polluted oceans. Powerful competitors hated her success. Investors admired her courage. Employees respected her honesty. That morning's voyage was meant to celebrate the successful testing of an advanced autonomous exploration system capable of mapping ocean trenches more accurately than any previous technology. Instead, disaster struck. A violent mechanical explosion tore through the vessel's engine compartment. Lifeboats launched in panic. Smoke rose into the bright afternoon sky. Confusion spread faster than instructions. Amid the chaos, someone made a terrible decision. Believing the damaged vessel would sink within minutes, several senior officers abandoned Celeste while she remained trapped beneath collapsed equipment. The emergency beacon activated automatically. Rescue operations began immediately. Among those arriving first were several highly decorated former Navy SEAL specialists now working private maritime recovery contracts. Their confidence bordered on arrogance. They trusted experience above instinct and dismissed outsiders without hesitation. When Graham's small research company received a request for drone support, he loaded his custom-built deep ocean vehicle into a transport helicopter. He wasn't invited because anyone respected him. He was simply the technician delivering equipment. The moment Graham stepped onto the rescue vessel carrying his weathered toolbox instead of military gear, several operators exchanged amused smiles. They assumed he was another civilian who would only slow everyone down. While command officers analyzed surface currents, Graham quietly examined fragments retrieved from floating debris. Tiny scratches along one carbon fiber panel disturbed him. They weren't caused by the explosion, they looked like deliberate cutting marks. That he politely suggested that the vessel hadn't simply exploded, someone had sabotaged it. Nobody listened. Instead, experienced divers explained the obvious facts. The ship had sunk rapidly. Survivors had already been recovered. Remaining wreckage rested thousands of meters below. No human could have survived. One contractor laughed openly after hearing Graham request access to sonar recordings, another joke that perhaps the single dad wanted to teach elite operators how oceans worked. Graham ignored every insult. His daughter had taught him something adults often forgot: kind people don't waste energy proving others wrong, they simply keep doing what's right. Hours passed, search aircraft found nothing. Rescue swimmers recovered nothing. Then Graham noticed one impossible detail. Inside the sonar logs, the emergency locator pulse hadn't disappeared immediately after sinking. That IT had moved, not randomly, purposefully. Someone or something had carried the beacon nearly 2 kilometers from the wreck before the signal stopped. No current could explain that path, only human intervention could. Again he tried warning command, again he was dismissed. Finally, frustrated but determined, Graham requested permission to deploy his own unmanned deep-sea drone. The request was approved almost carelessly because everyone believed it would accomplish nothing. As technicians lowered Graham's handmade vehicle into the water, several rescue professionals continued smiling with quiet amusement. The drone descended 500 meters, 1000, 2000, 3000. The crushing pressure increased beyond what commercial systems usually survived, but Graham had designed this machine himself years earlier using experimental pressure-resistant ceramics. At precisely 4112 meters, its lights revealed twisted steel scattered across the silent seabed. The wreck had been found, then something unexpected appeared, not the CEO. A bright orange recording module wedged beneath collapsed support beams. The vessel's black box. Everyone aboard the rescue ship froze. The impossible civilian had located in minutes what sophisticated military equipment had failed to discover all day. Recovery arms carefully extracted the recorder. As it surfaced hours later beneath the afternoon sunlight, technicians rushed it inside. The downloaded footage changed everything. Security cameras showed the explosion wasn't accidental. Explosive charges had been hidden during scheduled maintenance. Even more shocking, the recordings revealed Celeste escaping the damaged control room alive before entering a sealed emergency survival capsule designed to detach automatically. The capsule launched successfully, but instead of surfacing normally, hidden software redirected it toward a classified underwater maintenance tunnel beneath an abandoned offshore drilling platform. Someone wanted her alive, just hidden. Rescue operations changed instantly. Embarrassment replaced arrogance. The same specialists who had mocked Graham now depended entirely upon his understanding of deep-water navigation. Without celebration or resentment, Graham guided the mission. The maintenance tunnel proved dangerously unstable. Large rescue submarines couldn't enter. Only Graham's compact exploration vehicle could safely navigate the narrow passages. Despite having every opportunity to remain aboard safely, Graham volunteered personally, not because he sought recognition, because somewhere beneath thousands of meters of water, another parent's child still needed someone to refuse giving up. The descent felt endless. Sunlight disappeared almost immediately. Yet the story remained firmly within one extraordinary day as brilliant daylight continued above the ocean, where dozens watched hope descend into darkness. Inside the tunnel, Graham discovered damaged guide cables leading deeper. The drone's cameras suddenly detected movement. The emergency capsule remained intact. Its oxygen reserves were critically low. Inside, Celeste still lived, exhausted, weak, barely conscious. Graham worked methodically. Hydraulic arms removed debris piece by piece. Manual release systems had jammed. Pressure equalization required perfect timing. One mistake would crush the capsule instantly. Above, experienced commanders waited helplessly. Below, the mocked single father carried everyone's hope. Minutes stretched endlessly, then the capsule door finally opened. Medical telemetry confirmed a heartbeat. Cheers erupted across every vessel floating beneath the bright afternoon sky. The CEO everyone believed lost forever had been found alive. When Graham returned to the surface carrying the exhausted executive aboard the rescue submersible, silence greeted him before applause overwhelmed the deck. Even those who had ridiculed him first stood speechless. Several quietly lowered their heads, ashamed of their behavior. Celeste spent several hours receiving emergency treatment while investigators analyzed the recovered black box. Evidence led authorities toward executives who feared her environmental innovations would destroy profitable illegal dumping operations. Across international waters, the sabotage conspiracy collapsed within days because one ordinary father had trusted evidence instead of assumptions. Weeks later, once fully recovered, Celeste visited Graham's modest seaside workshop. She expected expensive equipment. Instead she found repaired toys waiting beside underwater drones because Graham always fixed neighborhood children's broken treasures free of charge whenever parents couldn't afford replacements. Elsie proudly introduced every handmade drawing decorating the walls. One picture showed her father standing beside enormous whales beneath colorful oceans. Another showed him wearing a cape, not because he was famous, because to one little girl, kindness looked exactly like heroism. Celeste walked through the workshop quietly, understanding something no financial report had ever taught her. Leadership wasn't measured by commanding people. It was measured by serving them. She offered Graham an executive position leading global deep-sea innovation for her corporation. He hesitated. Money alone couldn't persuade him. His first question wasn't about salary. It was whether he could still leave work every afternoon in time to walk his daughter home from school. Celeste smiled through grateful tears. She rewrote the company's executive policies that same week, introducing flexible family schedules throughout every department. Thousands of employees suddenly found themselves able to attend school events, medical appointments, and family milestones without sacrificing careers. One father's priorities transformed an entire corporate culture. Months later, the rescue team reunited for a public ceremony honoring everyone involved. The former SEAL operators approached Graham first. No cameras surrounded them. No reporters listened. They simply admitted they had mistaken confidence for wisdom. Experience had made them skilled. Humility finally made them better. Graham accepted every apology without hesitation. Holding bitterness would only have burdened tomorrow. Forgiveness allowed everyone to keep moving forward. Celeste then revealed one final surprise. The research center being built beside the coast would bear a new name, not hers, not the company's. It would honor the quiet engineer who reminded the world that compassion often sees what pride overlooks. The Mercer Ocean Discovery Institute opened with one mission beyond science. Every internship would prioritize single parents rebuilding their lives after hardship. Every scholarship would support children who dreamed beyond their circumstances. Every expedition would remember that breakthroughs begin when someone refuses to ignore a small voice others choose not to hear. Elsie stood beside her father during the dedication ceremony beneath bright afternoon sunshine, clutching the same drawing she had made months before. Only now she added one more figure. A smiling woman standing beside them, not because Graham had become rich, not because he had become famous, because kindness had brought together people who believed hope deserved another chance. As the ceremony ended, Graham looked across the endless blue ocean. The sea that had nearly taken a remarkable life had instead revealed remarkable hearts. The deepest discovery had never been the black box resting 4,112 meters below the surface. It was the truth that courage speaks softly, humility sees clearly, forgiveness heals completely, and ordinary people who refuse to walk away often become the greatest heroes of all. Before this story ends, please leave a meaningful comment sharing a moment when kindness, perseverance, or forgiveness changed someone's life or your own. Your words may become the encouragement another person desperately needs today. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. May we all remember that the strongest heroes are rarely the loudest, and the brightest hope is often found by the person everyone else underestimated.